And this course is organized in such a way that even a beginner should be able to understand. And we are going to create a real world project, a COVID-19 web app, which displays the data for a particular country. In the beginning, we will be working on a simple Hello World app which introduces the Django for the beginner and elaborates what's happening behind the scenes. And then we are going to play around the Hello World app to display the data according to the Python code. And once the student got the idea about the framework, we are going to move to the real world app, the COVID-19 web app. Now let's see how this app works. We'll use the API which holds the live data that's happening all over the world. And this API throws out the JSON response, and we'll manipulate this response with the Python language. And then we'll isolate the required data. And this data we'll use to display in our site. And what are you waiting for? Let's get started. Hello people, thanks for enrolling to my course, and I hope you will have a great journey while accessing this content. In this section we are going to install all the required libraries and frameworks. So first of all we need to install the Python. So get into your browser and type Python, get into the official site and hover on the downloads and click on the Python latest version. So once the Python was downloaded, just double click on that and click on continue and next in case of Windows, and click on the install. Once the Python get installed, just close this and you need a pip now. So get into the Google, just type install pip and get into the site and copy this and paste in your terminal. This will download the pip. And then, so once the pip was downloaded, just type python get pip.py. This will install the pip which we have downloaded just now. So pip was successfully installed. Now it's the time to install the Django. So pip3 install Django. In my case I am using the pip3, but you try with pip first. If it's not working, try the pip3. So Django was installed, and to make sure that whether it was installed in your system or not, just type pip3 or pip and then list. It should show you the Django here. As you can see, it's showing here. And we also use the request library later. So for that, type pip3 install request. And we also need the JSON. For that, type pip3 install JSON. But in this modern framework it is not required, as JSON is already coming with the Django library, so this is not required. And if it is showing any error, it's better to install that, and then all the installations were completed and you are all set. And in the next session we are going to set up the project. Alright guys, welcome to the session, and in this session we are going to set up a Django project, and I expect you that you have already installed Django in your system. Don't proceed to this lecture without installing the Django in your systems. And once the Django was installed in your system, get into your command prompt terminal and there get into the desktop directory and there create the Django project using Django admin start project, and I want to create a project COVID, and the project was created. And then if I open this folder, there are no apps in this project and we have to create an app in this project. So getting into the COVID project, there I want to create a COVID app. We use this manage.py file, a Python file, to create the app. So python 3 manage.py start app COVID app. This is the project level and this is the app level. Now we need to store the HTML templates in the templates folder. So I will create a templates folder here. New folder, templates, and then in the COVID folder in the settings.py I need to update some settings. In the install apps we will include the COVID app which we created now, and then we have to update the templates directory which we named as templates here, and then save the settings.py. In this course I'm using the Sublime Text as my text editor. You can use Sublime Text or VS Code and it's up to you. And then I will open the Sublime Text. There I will drag my project into that, and then if you see the COVID app, urs.py is missing. We need that in the COVID app, so we'll create a new file, nothing but the urls.py, and this is empty initially, so we will copy some code from project level urls.py to the COVID app urls.py, and let's delete all these comments which is not required for us right now, and then delete all the existing path and create your own path. And before creating the COVID app, let's print a simple hello world, because this is where the program starts. I mentioned a hello world URL, so whenever someone accesses this URL, a hello world should be displayed. So for that I will create a function to display the hello world, and I will name this function as hello world view, which accepts request as a parameter, and then I need to return the HTML template which displays the hello world. So before that I need to create a HTML template inside the templates folder. So I will create a new file and I will name it as hello world.html, and in this I will write some HTML code. I will create a heading hello world. So I need to return that HTML template. I need to render the hello world.html. So this function is to be executed when someone enters into this URL. So I need to map this function name here, hello world view, and this obviously shows the error because this urls.py don't know what actually the hello world view is. So we need to import from the views, because in views the function is there, hello world view. So from views import hello world view. So let's start the server and enter into that URL. First I will get into the directory of the project, and using the manage.py which is in the folder I will run the server. So it showed me the default URL, and I need to get into the hello world URL to display the hello world page, and this obviously shows the error again. Now let's see why this is showing the error. This is showing the error because this is the app level URLs. This is the project level URLs. In this hello world URL is not written here. So we need to include these app level URLs into the project level URLs using the include function. So we'll include path include COVID app.urls. Now we have included these URLs in the project level. Now it can identify what actually the hello world URL is, which is in the app level. So let's reload again. It is showing include is not defined because include is the inbuilt function which we need to import from the Django.urls include, and let's reload again. It is displaying the hello world when we enter into this URL. Now I want to remove this URL, let it be the empty URL, and still I want to display the hello world here. So I will make some changes here. I will remove this, and if I reload now, it will show the error because there is no such URL hello world. And if I get into the empty URL, it will display the hello world. It's displaying the hello world. I'm revising once again. When someone enters this empty URL, this function will be executed, and that function will render the HTML template. And in that HTML template, there is a heading hello world which is being displayed here. That's what is happening behind the scenes. Project, I'm going to use the bootstrap library which I need it for the design purpose. So let's get into the bootstrap, get bootstrap, and there click on the get started, copy this link and paste just below the title. So this will include the bootstrap library in our project. So let's check this bootstrap library by creating a simple button of red color and let it be my button, and let's check. So bootstrap library has been included. And in the previous session we have displayed the hello world on entering into the URL, and in this session we are going to pass the Python variables into the template. For example, we have something like string equal to everyone, and then I want to pass the string into the template and I want to display this everyone in that template. So for that I need to pass the string into that. But before proceeding to this render function don't accept the direct variables. It will accept only dictionary. So we will create a dictionary string, and let's save this dictionary in the context variable, and then let's pass this context here. And in the hello world.html, I want to remove this world, and instead of the world I want to pass the string such that this everyone will be displayed here. So let's reload and check. This is the Python variable which is there in the views.py. Now we have passed this into the template and it is being displayed here. So wherever I want, I can place these flower brackets and I can display the Python variables in such way. And now we'll consider another scenario where I will remove the string and I will take a list of components, my list, in this item 1, item 2 and item 3, and I want to pass this list into the template. Now my context will be, and for my convenience I want to change this to my list items, here also my list items. Now this my list items is being sent into the template. Now I want to display this my list items there. So here I cannot display all the 3 items with simply one variable because this one variable is holding more than one item. In such case I need to use the loop in the template to display each and every item. So I will use for loop here for my list item in my list items. This my list items is holding all the items and this my list item is holding each of that item, and I will end the for loop and I want to display each item inside the paragraph my list item. Now let's see all the items are being displayed there or not. I will reload this. It's displaying all the items. In such a way you can pass the Python variables into the template. Alright guys, welcome to this session, and in this session we are going to include the coronavirus API in our project. As we are doing the COVID app, we need the data, and how we will get the data? Obviously from the API. So we need to include the API which throws the JSON response in our project. So let's get into the Rapid API site and get into this URL and open this API, this orange color one. And then as we are working in the Django, which is a Python framework, click on the Python and then on the request. It will show you some code, just copy that and paste it in your views.py and then this may show you the error because request module is not installed in your system. So for that, what you need to do is, in the terminal, type pip3 install request. In my system it is already installed, so I no need to install again, but you people need to install this, otherwise this API is not going to work as it requires the request module. Once you are done with this, you can proceed with my lecture. I'm deleting all these items because I don't want to print the hello world anymore. Project, I'm going to use the bootstrap library which I need it for the design purpose. So let's get into the bootstrap, get bootstrap, and there click on the get started, copy this link and paste just below the title. So this will include the bootstrap library in our project. So let's check this bootstrap library by creating a simple button of red color and let it be my button, and let's check. So bootstrap library has been included, and I just want to see how this API is giving me the data. So I will create a dictionary same like before, where response is the response, and I'm passing this context into the hello world.html. I need to edit the hello world.html also. I'm deleting this for loop and I'm deleting this button, and I just want to display the response. So response. Now let's reload this and see the response. And it's not displaying any response just because we need to convert this to JSON and we need to import the JSON. And this may not work because JSON is required for this API. So if it is not there in your system, get into the terminal and type pip install JSON and then proceed with my lecture. And now let's reload the page. So it is showing me the JSON data, and I will save this data on desktop just for my reference. So my data is saved, and there if I want to print the results, which is nothing but the 227, so in this code I need to type the results. So it will not display the entire thing, it will display only 227. So let's reload. It is showing only 227. Now if I want to display this first object, first I need to get into the response and then index number, which is nothing but the 0, because 0 represents the first object as the array starts from 0. So first I need to write the subscript response, and then I need to mention the object number. This is the object number of 0, so I need to mention the 0, so it will display only that object. I'm reloading again, so it displayed the first object. If I want to display the second object, I need to type 1. If I want to display the third object, and for now I will remove this context. I don't want to print the JSON data anymore in our website. For now I would like to print this data in our terminal, so print response and the object number. Now let's check, let's reload this. It's displaying nothing, but it prints something in our command prompt, which is the first object. Now I want to print the first object as well as the second object. So I will reload again, and it printed both the first object and second object. Now if I want to print all the objects, I need to use the for loop here. So for x in range 0 to number of results, and here I need to type print response x, where x is the iterator, such that it will print all the objects. And I'm removing the above code, and this number of results is not still assigned, so we need to provide some value to that. So number of results is equal to, and that value also being given by API itself here. So I need to mention response results, and this is a string. Obviously I need to convert into the integer by typecasting such that it will work. Now let's reload and check whether all the objects are being printed or not. As you can see here, all the objects are being printed. Now I want to print only the country name, not everything. As you can see here, it's displaying the continent, country, population and all such stuff. I want to display only the country. For that, I need to get into the response and then get into the object and then get into the country of that object. So here I can mention the country of that object, and I will reload again. Only the country should be printed. As you can see here, it's displaying the country only. And I want to store all these countries in the list and wanna display in my site. So I will create an empty list in the beginning, and then I will append all these countries in my list. And I will remove the above printf. Let it be my list, and I'm creating a context my list. Now this context is a dictionary which I can pass into the template, and this is my list, which is a variable, and in the hello world.html, there I want to display all the countries. So inside the para, I need to display the country, which is each object of my list. So for country in my list, and for, now let's check. It's displaying all the countries here as expected. Now user should select this country. That means we need to keep it in the select tag. So select option, and here country should come. And I'm pasting the above code here, and I'm deleting this para. Now let's check. Now user can select the country. Alright guys, welcome to this session, and in the previous session we have listed out some countries here so that user can select a country and all the data related to the selected country will be displayed here. In this session we are going to get the user input, which country the user has selected. So for that I would like to save the selected country in the selected country, and I want to print the selected country. And I want to print the selected country in the terminal. For that, I will get into the HTML template, and there I will create a form, because this form enables us to send the data from HTML template to the view. And I will move the select tag into the form, and then I want to create the submit button using the input tag, and the type is submit. And the method is post, because I am using the post request to send the data from HTML to the view. And the action in which URL we are working here. So the URL is empty URL here, so I will leave this as a blank. and I want to name this select tag as selected country, and in the views.py the selected country is equal to request.post and the select tag name. Now let's check, and this should work only if there is a post request. So if request.method equal to post, then only this should be executed. So as I created the submit button here, the submit button was added here. Now I want to select the country and I want to submit this. It is showing CSRF verification failed. That means whenever we create any form, we should mention the CSRF token, which is just for the security purpose. So I'll reload this page again. So it's displaying the countries. I will select a country and I will submit it, and let's check whether it's being printed in our terminal or not. So let's check. Yes, it's being printed. Now I will select another country, Ireland, and I'll submit this. Ireland should be printed here. So we are able to get the user input. In the previous session, we have printed out the user input, and let me open the PDF which I saved before. And there is no link between this PDF and our project because this PDF I just saved for my reference. I'm not going to include any PDFs in this project. Once we get the country that has selected by the user, I need to get into the response, which is nothing but this part. And in this response, I have to search for the country name and I have to display its respective cases here. So first of all, I will create a loop where x in range 0 to number of results, and there I have to check whether the selected country is matched with the, and I have to check whether the selected country is matched with any of the country here. So first I need to get into the response which represents this whole data, response, and there I have to get the each object where this object is represented by the index 0 and this object is represented by the index 1. So I will keep x, which is the iterator which gets all the objects, and in each object I should get the country, and if that country is matched with this country, I need to print out the cases of that particular country. So how can we print the cases? First, we'll select the object of the response. So inside the JSON response, we should get into this response first, and we need to get into that particular object, and then we have to display the cases of that object. And I'm removing the above printf, and we also have to provide the number of results which we have done earlier inside this if statement. And let's run again. Let's reload this page, and I will select the China and I will submit. Let's see whether the cases are being displayed or not. As you can see, all the cases are being displayed here. Now if I want only the new cases, I should type the new in the index. So it should display only the value 23, and I will reload this page again, and I will select the China and I will submit. Now the 23 should be displayed, and as it's displaying. Now if I want only the active cases, I have to type the active here, and I will reload the page, and I will select China and I will submit again. It is showing the active cases, and now I will store each of them into my variables. New is equal to new, and active equal to active. There is some typo error here. And then what else required? Critical and recovered. Critical and recovered, and total, and that is not given, so we need to calculate that. We need to subtract it from total minus active minus recovered. So we have stored each and every data in our local variables, and in the next session we will move all these data into our HTML template. Alright guys, welcome to this session, and in this session we are going to move these variables into our template to display there. So I want to create the context here so that I can move the Python variables into the HTML template. So here I'll mention new as new, active as active, and similarly for the critical, recovered, and the deaths. After moving into the context, I want to render the HTML template, and once this template was rendered, it will not get into the next lines of this code because here itself the code compilation ends. And this code compiles only if there is a post request. Initially, this code will get executed because in the beginning no one gives the response. Once after giving the response, this code gets executed because we will get the post request and it will render here. Once we get the user input and once this is rendered here, this code will not compile anymore. And I'm summarizing once again. Initially, there will be no post request as soon as someone opens the website. At that time, this code gets executed and it will not show any results. And once there is a post request, this code gets executed and this code will not execute anymore because once it was written the template, the next lines of the code will not be executed. And in the template, I want to display all such stuff where new is new, active is active, critical is critical, recovered is recovered, and the death is deaths, and the total is total. And here I forgot to mention the total, so I will mention here. Now I will reload and check, and I will select the country and I will submit it. It's displaying all the data, but here it's not showing any country here because we didn't send any my list into this context. So we need to send that my list is, and this my list holds nothing in the beginning of the code. So we need to copy this and paste above. Now let's reload and check, and let's select the country, submit it, it's displaying. Now select the country, submit it, it's displaying the results. Now I want to mention the country name also, so I need to pass the selected country here as selected country, and I want to mention that here selected country, and I will reload the page again and I will select a country and I will submit this. It's showing the country name and as well as the data. Hello everyone, welcome to this session. And in the previous sessions we have already completed almost the coding part, and I no need of this any PDF to develop my logic and work with the coding part. And as the coding part is finished, next we have to move to the design part. And this is the website which is looking pretty odd, and we need to design this site to look better to the user. So what I need to do is, first of all, I'll make this background color as black. So background color became black. And now keeping this code aside, below I'll start designing, and here I will create a heading saying that COVID-19 worldwide data, and I want this of white color. So style color white. Let's see, it's being displayed here. And now I want this COVID-19 part in the red color, so I will keep this inside the span tag, and I will close the span tag, and there let the color be red. And I want to move this entire part to the center, so I need to align the text to the center, text align to the center. Now let's see, perfect. Now let's design this form. I'm cutting and pasting here, and I want the contents of this form to the center. So what I need to do is I need to apply the flex class here. So class deflex. And you all should know about the bootstrap before enrolling this course, because this course doesn't teach you how to design the websites, and take this as an optional lecture. And justify content center, and then align items center. This will make sure that everything was centered. And let's reload and check. As you can see here, it is centered to the screen. Now to the select tag, let's apply the form control class so that it will make it look better. Now let's reload. And this was too big, I just want to change its width. So in the style, I'll change this width to 200 pixel. Now let's check. And I want the submit button to be red in color. So we'll mention the class button danger such that it will display red in color. Good. Now I want to display the country name just below this. So what I will do is I will create a heading, and I want to display the selected country which we are passing from the views. Now let's reload this. It is displaying black in color, so we are not able to see. Let's change this to white, and let's bring it to the center by mentioning the text align. Good. Now I need some gap between these two, so I will mention some margin here. So margin top, I think 150 pixel will be sufficient. Good. Now I want three boxes here to display the active cases, total cases, and all such stuff. So I want to display three boxes here and three boxes bottom to that, as there are total 6 data. So I will create a div, and I will create a flex box here, same as above. Deflex, justify content center and align item center, and I will mention the three containers. So the class is container. I'll copy paste the above, as I need the three containers here and three containers in the another flex box. And each container should be of height 100 pixel and width 200 pixel. And in each container I want one heading and one para, where heading denotes the number of cases, for example total, and the para is total cases. And I want to do the same thing to the other containers. And now I will reload the page. Here I want to change this to recovered, this to active, and this to new, and this to deaths, and this to critical. And here the label should be recovered, and the label should be active, and this label should be new, and this label should be deaths, and this label should be critical. And I want to color these containers as they are displaying in black color. So let the background color of the total cases be orange, and the background color of the record be green, and the background color of the active container be yellow, and the background color of the new container be sky blue, and the background color of the that's be gray, and the background color of the critical be red. Now let's reload and check. And I don't want these to be in perfect rectangle shape. I want some border radius here. So I will apply the border radius to each of this to be 10 pixel, and the same to the other containers. Actually you can do this using the separate CSS file, but I just want to do here only because I don't want to confuse you at this point. Let's reload. As you can see here, the border radius was applied. As you can see here, the border radius was applied. But the containers here are too attached. I just want to make a space in between. So I just want to apply, so I want to apply margin to each and every container. But this time I don't want to go to each and every container and apply the CSS. I just want to get into the style tag because this consumes very less time. And I will select a container, and I want to provide the margin to the every container as 10 pixel, margin top as 10 pixel, and margin bottom as 10 pixel. Now let's reload and check. So you can see the margin here. Now I want to text align all these headings and paras to the center. So I want to provide text align to the center to each heading, text align center, and I will copy paste the same to other headings and para. Now let's reload and check. All the text were aligned to the center. And I want to delete all the above code. And I want to provide a small gap between these two. So I need to provide the margin to the form. Margin top 50 pixel. So the gap is created, and I want to mention my credits here. So a para developed by, I want to span this because I want to be in different color, and let the color be gray and this color be white, and this is the color. And here I want to mention my name, and I want to move this to the center, text align center, and I just want it to be moved down, so I need to provide the top margin. Let it be 130 pixel. Good. If I selected India, the country name should be displayed here and all the data related to the country should be displayed here. So I'll submit the country. So India is being displayed here and all the data related to the India is being displayed here. And if you want, you can change the colors also. This black color is looking odd on the green color. So get into the template and change this color to white and change this color also to white. And here also. And here also. Now let's reload. Now it's somewhat looking good. So we have successfully developed the COVID-19 using the API to get the JSON response, and that JSON response we manipulated the data using the Python and hence moved the data to the HTML template, and that data is being displayed here. And thank you for enrolling to my course. I hope you had a great journey throughout this course, and thank you all.